Imagine a country with no oil, no gold, almost no land, and not even enough water for its own people. Most nations with those disadvantages struggle for decades. But this place did the opposite. Today, it's one of the richest countries on Earth, a global financial hub, one of the safest cities in the world, and a country with a GDP per capita higher than many Western nations. So how did Singapore pull off what seems almost impossible? And why have so many countries with far more resources failed to do the same? Before we dive in, make sure to follow and like the video if you enjoy deep stories about how countries rise and fall. Let's get into it. Back in 1965, Singapore's future looked extremely bleak. The small island had just been kicked out of Malaysia after political tensions exploded. Overnight, Singapore became an independent country. But independence didn't feel like freedom. It felt like disaster. The island had no natural resources, almost no military, massive unemployment, and deep ethnic tensions between Chinese, Malay, and Indian communities. Even worse, Singapore depended on Malaysia for water and trade access. Many experts at the time believed the country simply would not survive. But one man saw things differently. His name was Lee Kuan Yew. Lee believed Singapore's survival would depend on discipline, strategy, and ruthless long-term planning. Instead of relying on natural resources, he focused on something far more powerful: human capital. Education became a national obsession. Schools focused heavily on math, science, engineering, and English, making Singapore's workforce attractive to global companies. Within years, Singapore began producing highly skilled workers, even though the country itself had almost nothing in the ground. But education alone wasn't enough. Lee Kuan Yew understood another brutal truth about economics. Companies invest where governments are stable and corruption is low. So Singapore did something radical. It launched one of the strictest anti-corruption systems in the world. Officials were paid high salaries, but corruption penalties were severe. The message was clear: if you steal from the system, you're out. The result? Singapore quickly became known as one of the cleanest governments on Earth. This reputation attracted multinational companies, and that led to the next big move. Singapore turned itself into Asia's most efficient trade hub. Look at the map, and you'll see why. The island sits directly on one of the busiest shipping routes in the world, connecting Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Instead of exporting resources, Singapore built the infrastructure that global trade needed: massive ports, world-class airports, efficient customs systems. Today, the Port of Singapore is one of the busiest ports on the planet. Ships carrying trillions of dollars in goods pass through it every year. But the transformation didn't stop there. Singapore also became a global financial center. Low taxes, strong banking regulations, and political stability attracted international banks and investment funds. Money from all over the world started flowing through the island. Suddenly, Singapore wasn't just a trading hub, it was a financial powerhouse. Then came another smart move: housing. Instead of allowing massive slums to grow like in many rapidly developing cities, the government built large amounts of high-quality public housing. Today, about 80% of Singapore's population lives in government-developed housing. But these are modern apartments, not poor districts. This created stability, social mobility, and one of the highest home ownership rates in the world. Combine all of this and something remarkable happened. A tiny island with no natural resources became richer than many resource-rich countries. Singapore proved something most nations still struggle to understand. Natural resources can help a country grow, but good governance, education, and strategic positioning can make a country unstoppable. Today, Singapore is not just wealthy. It's one of the most efficient and strategically designed economies on Earth. A place where discipline, long-term planning, and human talent replaced oil, gold, and land. And that might be the real lesson of Singapore. The richest resources a country can have aren't buried underground. They're built in its people and its institutions. If you enjoy stories about how countries rise to power, make sure to like the video and follow the channel. And tell me in the comments, which country should we break down next?